This is one of the biggest stories in the history of our country. This is one of the biggest stories of our generation. Trump admin warns 42 million Americans could lose food stamps as shutdown drags on. The USDA is warning that SNAP funds will run dry starting November 1st. And my reaction? Okay, anyway, you get the point. Now, I know there are a lot of people that do rely on this, so I'm only half kidding when I say I don't care. I love it. The Trump administration is warning millions of Americans could lose out on federal food benefits within days if Democrats do not accept Republicans' plan to end the government shutdown. The USDA said it does not have the ability to independently reshuffle funds into the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, commonly known as food stamps, according to a recent memo obtained by Fox News Digital. Due to congressional Democrats' refusal to pass a clean continuing resolution, approximately 42 million individuals will not receive their SNAP benefits come November 1st. This jeopardizes all SNAP recipients in November, including those that have applied for benefits in the last half of October and furloughed federal employees who will not receive their combined October-November benefits. And this is not a joke, my friends. If you go to google.com and type in the words "is they," the first thing that pops up is, quote, "Is they cutting food stamps?" That a brick wall, Mr. Brickman or whatever showed me that brick suit, Mr. Brick suit man. He showed me just before the show. He's like, "Look, this is legit," and I pulled it up, and it really is. And I guys, as part of me wants it to happen because for too long, too many people in this country have just suckled off the teat of Uncle Sam. However, I do understand there are real Americans that desperately rely on this for legitimate reasons. So it's a rock and a hard place. I can't imagine Trump or anyone allows this to happen because if 42 million people can't buy food all around the exact same time, you are going to see the margins of every major box store and grocery store drop significantly. It may only be a couple percentage points, but enough that these stores have stocked their shelves to compensate for welfare purchasers. We got Cove Pure. Man, my friends, Cove Pure. Do you trust the government to make the best choice for your health? Some of you probably do. I don't think you and I do. Same government that shut down the country during COVID? Nah. When it comes to my family's health, I make my own decisions. Over 70% of Americans are served by water systems that have fluoride added to the supply. Yes, fluoride. You know that stuff in toothpaste, which you spit out in the sink? Tell us again why the government wants people drinking this stuff. I'll also tell you a quick story. I had a friend who, his sister had a baby. This is a true story. And she bought fluoride water. Literally, it's water with added fluoride for her baby. And I asked her why. And she goes, it's for babies. We looked up online, and it said online, do not give your babies fluoride. And I was like, don't look at me. I'm not a doctor. You trust your doctor. But, you know, and then she questioned why the store was selling baby water with added fluoride in it. Very strange, if you ask me. Luckily, my friends, Cove Pure is certified to remove up to 99.9% of impurities using the same tech trusted by hospitals, and that includes fluoride, and that's really dang impressive, to be honest. All the other garbage you'd find as well, PFAs, fertilizer runoff, pharmaceuticals, you name it. You can choose any temperature, hot or cold, and how much you want dispensed, so you're not just guessing how much you drink. Cove Pure helps us stay hydrated. Check out covepure.com/Tim. For a limited time, you'll get a special discount of $200 off Cove Pure. That's covepure.com/Tim, Tim. And, you know, we got to get Luke in here so he can go off on the fluoride stuff, too, because that man knows what I'm talking about. If those people stop showing up, there will be a certain degree of waste and excess. These supermarkets will lose money. They will order less. They will say, okay, we got to throw this out. No matter what happens, there will be a surplus in the immediate. So they'll order less. The manufacturers, the distributors are going to start shipping less. It is going to be a snapback tsunami in the economy across the board, everywhere. I don't know how they let this happen.
And profit margins in the grocery sector are just phenomenally low. People
3%, 2%.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like it's an incredibly low margin business because they can plan it that way because you basically know people need to eat. They're going to buy this. It's going to be cyclical patterns of like, you know, different food categories may happen at different times of the year, but you've got to keep buying food. You got to keep buying the staples. And any interruption of that is going to just trickle back up, and it's going to be hard to get that engine started again. It's not like you can just stop the food economy on a dime and then 2 weeks later ramp up the production again.
When
Well,
egg
that's
prices
exactly
were
right.
crazy high at the end of last year, people were stealing storage containers or giant shipping containers of eggs out of Pennsylvania.
Well, oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so I just think hunger and desperation is going to lead to violence, rioting. It's
Yeah.
not going to be pretty.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned grocery stores have low profit margins. It's true, they're razor thin. It's something like 3 cents at every dollar spent at the grocery store is actual profit for the company. They're very, very low margins. As you mentioned, they rely on the fact that people need to eat food. This is part of why government-run grocery stores don't work, because no bureaucrat is competent or concerned enough to account for 3% in waste. But that 3% is what allows for the grocery store to be possible. And so you're right, the price dynamic has been distorted over the past several decades by food stamps, essentially. And some people really do need them. But the important thing to remember is that a price is not just an incentive, it's information. It tells you what you should stock your store with. It tells you what people are reliably going to buy. We don't know how much of what's currently purchased is only purchased because of EBT. So it's really difficult for these stores to do any kind of economic calculation without that.
I want it to happen. Sorry. I mean,
Well,
look. I understand. Easy for me to say, I'm not going to go hungry. My family's not going to go wanting. And so that's where I'm torn on this, because there are real people out there that get these benefits because they need them. Real hardworking families that are struggling to make ends meet, maybe through no fault of their own. And this was the program was supposed to do. The problem is the program itself has become a cancer on our economic system. And there are too many people who intentionally manipulate the system for free money out of the good, hardworking American's pocket. And so the issue is, in all things, cutting yourself off from the addiction is going to suck. It's going to hurt. And there's nothing you can do to stop it.
Yeah.
But continuing the improper medication or the addicting drug is only going to make it worse.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Beyond that, like, well, for one, 42 million, that means 1 in 8 Americans is on SNAP benefits. That's ridiculous. Beyond that, like, this is the problem with welfare, broadly speaking, is that it's a feedback jammer, because it's like the signs that a society sends to itself, like these normal signs that a society uses to correct itself, get jammed with welfare, and you're not able to actually address these issues.
So, I'm curious, Seamus, do you think that for a lot of people that rely on benefits, they could turn to their churches?
It's a difficult question. I mean, I would hope so. It depends on the church and it depends on the area. I know that a number of food pantries have closed. I know that there was one at least that closed in 2020 near where I lived at the time. And the issue here with all of this is there are some number of people who really do need the assistance. I mean, I don't think anyone is denying that. There's some number of people who really do need food stamps. They're not going to be able to survive. They're not going to be able to pay for themselves. But in part, it's because the infrastructure has been built up. Like Tim asked the question, would churches be able to pay, feed them? Well, I don't know how prepared churches are relative to how prepared they need to be, because this subsidy of food stamps has existed for so long. And I'm going to say it. I've known
I can't imagine
people
there's
on both
any
sides.
way that they could be ready. They can't be ready.
Not for this number of people. No. But in terms of people who like really genuinely need it, again, I've known a number of people who were receiving welfare benefits through the course of my life. Some people were people who I was like, this person 100% needs it. They have a disability. They're seriously poor. There's no way they're going to be able to provide for themselves. I've also known people who was like, you didn't need it. Like, this guy didn't need it. So I think it's really important for our government to be more discerning about who gets it. Shutting the spigot off all at once, as everyone here's mentioned, can cause some serious problems. But something does have to happen.
I feel bad for the single parent households that don't abuse it. But obviously, this is a generational problem.
Yes.
That abuse it.
They shouldn't exist.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that single parents, in some extreme fashion should be taken from their kids or whatever. I'm saying our society should not have created a mechanism by which single parent households can be easily, I don't want to say attained, that's not the right word, but
viable.
Where it's
viable.
Where it's easier to break a marriage up.
Exactly. It needed to be that it was an impossibility. No fault divorce has been a big problem. The welfare system, it has made it so that there are circumstances where instead of people getting married and having functioning families where they have their kids and they're watching their kids, they say, you know what? I'm unhappy, so instead of making it work for what is right, I'm going to use the court system, break it apart, and then get on welfare benefits for my kids.
Yeah, I'm talking about widows mostly, but I think the government has incentivized this situation with single parents. So they've married these people to the government, and now they need this.
It's a bell that can't be unrung.
I'm sorry, I got to read this Ready to Rumble super chat. He said, cutting food stamps right before Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Bro, if this way, I'm like, dude, it's not going to happen.
They've got
they're going to intervene somehow.
They've got a little bit of wiggle room in there. I'm not sure if this is true in every state, but some states, like, they don't all roll out all the benefits on the first. So it's like on the first, if your card ends in a 1, your benefits load up. On the second, if it ends in a 2, it loads up. So there could be a little bit of some wiggle room in there. They don't have to do it all by the first, but if it goes any significant amount of time, it's not going to be good at all.
And we saw with the military paychecks that the private individuals are willing to foot the bill. And I mean, if it's true, it is true. Like, a lot of these grocery stores run razor thin margins. You have to think the execs at Kroger, the execs at Walmart are having conversations right now of like, all right, how much money do we need to chuck at this to keep it going for another 2 weeks? Because the government, like you were saying, has distributed the cost of dysfunction onto the productive class. That's why we're having these conversations. Like, are these churches ready, or is the Salvation Army ready? It's like,
that's the way it used to be.
Yeah, but can I throw some out there? Well, this is another really important part of this dynamic, which is the way the food stamp program works in this country is that you're able to go buy the kinds of foods that everyone else is able to buy. I know RFK added some stipulations, which I think are good. Yeah, I totally support it. But when we talk about, like, our church is going to be able to feed these people. Now, in the best case scenario, you could say maybe what's able to happen is these churches are able to get inexpensive foods like rice and beans, etc., and feed people who are genuinely starving. But the idea that the churches could ever be capable of supplying 10% of the country with all of the highly processed, more expensive foods that people have been consuming on food stamps, that's almost certainly impossible.
There's so many people. Right to Rumble said, Tim will cut your food stamps right before Christmas and thinks he's the good guy. LOL. Wow. Yep, I am. And what I find in these liberals is they're short-term thinkers. They don't plan ahead. They don't plan for winter. And the systems that have been built by these people have been gutting and destroying this country. And now we're at the rock and the hard place position where maybe we need to do it now to avoid a long fall later. I don't like the idea that people get this ripped out from underneath them, a rug pull at the last minute. But the idea that we have so many government systems that have been exploited and abused for decades from people who know they're exploiting and abusing the system, it's unsustainable. Every single day, the socialists say we deserve more of what you work for. At some point, you can't take from someone who has nothing left. At a certain point, you take too much and people stop working. The system's unsustainable. Zoran Mamdani's in New York saying, and I love this, we're going to make the buses free, and we're going to make the buses faster. And I got a question for you guys. Why are the buses slow in New York? Does anybody know?
Oh, yeah, because they're weapons of mass destruction, and there's too many cars and people.
So hold on. He said the buses, we have the slowest buses in the country. So that kind of implies it's not an issue of traffic, right? Because traffic for traffic, he's saying the buses are slow. Why aren't they going faster?
I have
could it be some kind of, perhaps there's a limit on the bus of some sort?
Because of science, you mean?
Could there be a limit, like on the speed of the bus relative to all vehicles in the city?
If anyone out there is
25 miles an hour?
Driven in New York City, the buses don't go slow. I mean, you have to watch out for the buses. They're crazy.
It's the insane things these people say that mean nothing and make no sense. Buses can go 60 miles an hour. The reason why they don't in New York is because the speed limit is 25. Yeah. So he's like, we're going to make the buses faster, and everyone cheers. And he may as well say, Red Bull gives you wings.
What I think he means.
It's a meaningless statement.
What I think he means is he's going to try to limit cars more in the city to free up space.
I think what we're seeing here is, he did an interview and he goes, yes, I'm going to tax people more. He's like, because we deserve these programs. It will never stop. It will never stop. And when you do this, what happens is less and less people will work to put into a system, and they will seek to extract from it until eventually the people who produce the system say, I'm done and I'm leaving.
Oh, yeah.
That's been happening.
Anybody who can get out is going to want to get out. And I'm sure there are people who've already left because they're looking at it like, if it doesn't happen this time, it's going to happen at some time. So there's always a prime window for you to get out and maximize your gains. Everybody's trying to sell at once. That's going to be bad.
About 1 million people left New York City in the 70s when they were trying to climb out of bankruptcy and taxing everyone into oblivion.
Yep.
It'll happen again.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.